The Beatles' fall wasn't caused by a single crack, but by fractures that ran deep, hidden behind their dazzling success. Fans may never know every secret that tore them apart, but one truth is undeniable. George Harrison's voice was smothered in the shadows of Lennon and McCartney. From the start, the two giants ruled the songwriting throne, while Harrison waited in silence. Yet by the mid-1960s, his creative fire was blazing, and by the time the band disintegrated, he was overflowing with songs, so many that he would unleash them in the form of a monumental triple album. What his bandmates once ignored would later be hailed as timeless brilliance. January 1969 marked the cruel irony of his struggle. At Twickenham Film Studios, weeks after the White Album's release, the band was starving for material. Tensions hung thick in the air, and still they cast aside Harrison's jewel. In Peter Jackson's The Beatles' Get Back, the world can now witness the quiet storm Harrison. Guitar in hand, unveiling all things must pass. It was more than a song. It was prophecy, a hymn to impermanence, whispering that all things, even the Beatles, must fade. But Lennon and McCartney didn't see the treasure before them. Their indifference cut sharper than any argument. The group toyed with the song a few times, but the lack of passion was evident. For Harrison, it was déjà vu, another masterpiece left to gather dust. He wasn't surprised anymore. He had grown numb to the rejection. Yet in those lyrics, about endings, loss, and the inevitability of change, lay the echo of his own exhaustion. After the split, Harrison remembered coming back from Christmas holidays only to step into rehearsals poisoned with strange, heavy energy. He had begun to rediscover the joy of simply being a musician, but inside the Beatles' machine, that joy evaporated. What once was a brotherhood had become a cage. When the band finally collapsed in 1970, it was Harrison, not Lennon, not McCartney, who rose from the ashes like a phoenix. His All Things Must Pass was not just an album, but a declaration of freedom. Songs that had been brushed aside. My Sweet Lord, What is Life? Isn't It a Pity? Became anthems that conquered both the UK and US charts. The Quiet Beatle had unleashed a roar that echoed across the world. Harrison later confessed that his work had always been pushed to the back, with Lennon and McCartney's endless stream of songs automatically given priority. He described the flood of music on All Things Must Pass as the release of years of creative suffocation, a dam breaking, unstoppable. That neglect had scarred his confidence, but it had also sharpened his craft into something undeniable. And when the world finally heard it, the truth was impossible to ignore. George Harrison didn't need Lennon and McCartney to shine. Backed by allies like Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, and Billy Preston, he proved himself not as the silent shadow of the Beatles, but as a towering artist in his own right. His triumph was more than musical, it was poetic justice. The voice once drowned out by two giants had, at last, become a thunderclap that history could never silence.